All season long, the Oakland A's have been on top of the AL West. The team with the best record in baseball was sailing through the first half of the season, winning series after series, as they seem to be the team to beat in the American League. But not so fast. The Angels of Anaheim continue to keep pace in the West, and after a sputter by the Green and Gold this past week, the Halos have stormed past the Athletics, taking over first place. Tonight, the two teams collide as it's the first of 7 meetings over the next 10 days. A's, Angels, next. Fans are ready for the big weekend of baseball, and it is pennant race baseball at its best tonight from the O.co Coliseum. Sonny Gray and the Athletics are trying to slow down the red-hot Angels. There's your AL West standings. The Angels with a 2-game lead over the A's. These two teams have 10 games left against each other. That's the starting pitcher tonight for the Angels, Hector Santiago. So, big weekend of baseball. It's the first of 3. It's the Oakland A's and it's the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. You'll see tonight's game right here at Comcast Sportsnet, California. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's baseball. Along with Shooty Babbitt, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Sonny Gray tonight. He was terrific in the month of July. He was the pitcher of the month in the American League. But Shooty, he has struggled some in the month of August.
Yeah, Glenn, but Sonny Gray is a big game pitcher, and we've watched it time and time again. He has an Anaheim Angel lineup that can beat you in so many ways. One thing Sonny Gray has been able to do when he has been struggling is kind of bounce and weave a little bit around the lineup and not let the big guys beat him. Well, he's got a lineup of about 9 guys that can do some damage, so it's going to be interesting.
So, Shooty, when you think about the Angels and their lineup, you think Trout, you think Pujols, and you think Hamilton, but maybe the unsung hero, Cole Calhoun. What a terrific job he has done in the leadoff spot for them.
Great young player coming into the league as a professional. They didn't really know what Calhoun was going to play because he was a tweener, if you will. Not too big, not big enough to play first base, and didn't really show you that corner power. But all he has done is shine in every area of his game. And when it comes to defense, he's shown you that he can make gold glove caliber player. This is a kid that's going to be a player for a long time in this league.
All right, 2 best teams with the 2 best records in baseball fighting for the division title. It does not get a whole lot better than that. So indeed, pennant race baseball tonight from the Coliseum. We'll have lineups at first pitch when we come back. It's the A's and the Angels.
is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Right now at Jack in the Box, try Jack's Spicy Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. And by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
Now the big series is about to get started. Sonny Gray and the Athletics wearing the green tops tonight as they take the field for game one of this three-game series. It's the A's and it's the Angels. Game time weather for tonight brought to you by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. 63 degrees, breezy, so a little cool tonight. Kind of actually probably a fairly normal night here at the Coliseum. Comfortable playing conditions certainly for the guys down on the field. So the Angels in town, and let's look at a lineup that's pretty good. Cole Calhoun leads off in right field. Mike Trout in center. Pujols at first. Hamilton in left. Then it's Kendrick at second. Ibar at short. Freeze at third. Efren Navarro is the designated hitter, and Hank Conger will do the catching.
Well, rushing it up there for the A's tonight. The July pitcher of the month, Sonny Gray. It's been a little different here in August. He definitely needs to shed the light a little early on to let the Angels know that he is truly under control, because he's going to be huge as far as the A's success is for tonight.
Let's check out the defense for the Athletics. Gentry is in left field, so he's back off the disabled list. So the A's are thrilled to have Craig Gentry back, and he's in the lineup. Coco's in center, Sam Fulton right, Donaldson, Perino, Callaspo, Fryman on the infield with Derek Norris doing the catching. So Sonny Gray throws his final warm-up toss, and we are set for baseball. The A's and the Angels. We showed you at the top of our show, the Angels with a 2-game lead in the AL West over the Athletics. Angels are playing very well right now. They've won 4 in a row. They've won 8 out of 9. And the A's, on the other hand, are struggling. They've lost 6 out of 7. So the A's hoping that changes tonight. So last 10 games for each, 8-2, 2-8. So it doesn't take a genius, Shooty, to tell you that, well, 8-2, 2-8, well, that's a big swing. That's a 6-game swing in the standings. Remember, there was a time not long ago when the A's had a 4-game lead in the West. First pitch of the ball game is in for a strike.
First pitch.
So Cole Calhoun, Mike Trout, Albert Pujols here in the first inning. Calhoun, .293 with 13 home runs. And he bounces that one. Fryman dives, can't get it. But it's picked up by Callaspo, who throws to Sonny Gray in time, and that is not an easy play. But Callaspo hits Sonny Gray on the move, and that's out number 1.
Cole Calhoun, a pretty good fastball hitter, but Callaspo had him played very well, Glenn, in the hole.
So 1 away. Here's Trout. The great ones generally get booed, and Trout is getting booed. Another terrific season. .287, 27 home runs, 89 RBIs. 5th in home runs, 3rd in RBIs. Stretch that out a little bit further. He's 2nd in runs, 1st in total bases, 2nd in doubles. So Shooty, he may be the front runner for the most valuable player in the American League.
Well, he's come up short the last couple of years, and he's put up the type of numbers that would indicate that he definitely is an MVP type player.
See Bill Miller, the crew chief, and the home plate umpire tonight. Angels overall 76-50. This is the last stop on a long road trip for them. They're 6-1 on this 10-game trip. And that one's launched to left center field. That's hit well. Gentry's going back. He's at the wall, and it is gone. Trout homers in the very first inning, and the Angels lead 1-0. Well, if you're a believer that a big hit early in a big series can make a difference.
Unlike most right-hand hitters who are high ball hitters, Mike Trout, a right-hand hitter, thrives on hitting low pitches. Sonny Gray not able to get the breaking ball down in the dirt where you want to waste one. Mike Trout has short arms, and it allows him to extend very quickly, and he jumps all over a pretty decent breaking ball.
Here's Albert Pujols, who bounces when fouled at the plate. So home run number 28, and he is in the top 5 in home runs, trailing only Cruz, Abreu, Carter, and Ortiz. He now has 90 RBIs on the year. Pujols with a pop-up to shallow right field. Fryman out, and Nate Fryman has it. 2 outs.
If you look at Trout, a guy who has short arms and how quickly he's able to get to a low fastball, but being able to get to a breaking ball here, he keeps his hands back. You look at the way that he distributes his weight, it allows him to keep his head down and to be able to put a charge in a low pitch there. It's just not common to see a right-handed hitter be able to elevate a low pitch as well as Trout did there.
Exmo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. So here's Josh Hamilton. Hamilton hitting in the cleanup spot. Another up and down year for Hamilton. He did miss a lot of time. Remember, he hurt his thumb early in the season. He missed 48 games. Curveball and a good one, 1-2.
Well, when you look at Hamilton, I mean, you're talking about a top physical specimen. This guy has one of the better baseball bodies in the game. But when he's having his problems, a lot of people say it normally stems from above the shoulder.
Another breaking ball, takes that one outside. A lot of times you can tell how Josh Hamilton is swinging the bat by how he takes pitches, or if he takes pitches at all.
I think that's a great point, Glenn, because he'll either be jumpy or he'll look very hitterish in the box.
See that right there? When he's going bad, there's no question he swings at that pitch.
You are absolutely right.
And for him to take that, maybe he's feeling pretty good in the box. 3-2. And a good swing there on a fastball.
You know, Glenn, on Mike Trout, you know, over the past 12 games, this Angel team has made an incredible run. And believe it or not, during that time, he has not been the center of attention. This guy's hit a .130 over the last 12 games. So just goes to show you just can't hold those great players down too long.
3-2 pitch. And Hamilton takes low, and it's a 2-out walk. So Hamilton aboard. Here's Howie Kendrick.
Batting in the 5th position, second baseman, number 47, Howie Kendrick.
Kendrick, solid season, 283, 5 home runs, 53 runs batted in. Kendrick has pretty good power, to hits a lot of balls toward right center, so the A's shift that way a little bit. Coco slid over toward right center.
A lot of people consider Howard Kendrick to be one of the better right-hand hitters in the game that you don't hear a whole lot about. This guy challenges the 300 mark every year.
Fouls that one straight back.
Glenn, if you look at Sonny early on with this fastball, he appears to be missing up a little bit in the zone. The first pitch that he threw to Calhoun was up in the zone, which was called for a strike. So it appears that he's still feeling his way around the zone a little bit.
1-1. And that one tapped at the plate. So now Sonny Gray ahead of Kendrick, 1-2. That home run that Sonny Gray allowed to Trout, just the 10th home run that he has allowed this year in 163 innings, and that is not a lot. So really the home run ball has not been an issue for Sonny Gray. lead for Hamilton. He's not going anywhere. It's foul back again.
Well, the one thing that I wasn't really worried about was the Angels doing a lot of damage in the air, because during that 12-game stint, as much damage as they did do, they only hit 3 home runs, and you wouldn't expect that from a powerful club like this one. So it just tells you that they're getting it done in a multitude of ways.
Another 1-2 pitch. Curveball hit high in the air toward Coco. He's got it side retired. Mike Trout with his 28th home run of the year. So the Angels take an early 1-0 lead. Let's see if the A's can answer back here in the bottom of the first. Angels on the Trout home run lead 1-0. Here's the A's lineup: Chris, Gentry, Donaldson, Norris, Gomes, Fryman, Callaspo, Fold, and Perino.
Taking the mound for the Angels, Hector Santiago has been great over his last 6 starts with a sub-2 ERA. It's been a difference of 6 inches. They've improved some direction, and he's been a strike-throwing machine ever since.
He's faced the A's a couple times this year, and he's pitched extremely well against them. Does not have any wins to show for it, but the A's know how he is when he's on top of his game, as he has been in those 2 starts. Coco shoots from foul, so quick 0-2. Hector Santiago. He's 26 years old. Of course, he was part of that big 3-team trade between the Angels, the Diamondbacks, and the White Sox. And really what it ended up being is the Angels traded Mark Trumbo, and they got Santiago and Tyler Skaggs back. So they got a couple of young left-handers. Santiago started the season in the rotation, struggled some, went to the minor leagues briefly, but he's been pretty good since coming back.
Yeah, Glenn, he's straightened it out. Early on in the season, he had a chance to win the number 5 job in the rotation, but he just had problems throwing strikes, and a lot of people felt that he just didn't believe in his stuff, but they found out that he was just missing a little bit here and a little bit there, and the adjustments that he's made have been incredible for him.
That one's belted to left center field. Hamilton and Trout back, and that baby's gone, and Coco answers right back. So Coco home run number 8 ties up this game, and here's Gentry. Fastball for a strike. So that's a good answer back right there, Shooty.
Well, if O-Town is going anywhere, they better jump on the back of number 4.
Gentry taps one in the hole. Ibar's not going to be able to make a play. The speedy Gentry has a hit.
Coco Chris has always been a real good fastball hitter, and the one thing about Santiago's success here lately, he's been able to establish his fastball, but Coco Chris can hunt as well as anybody. He has an idea what he's looking for when he goes up to the plate, and time again, he's squared up fastball and have shot a lot of balls into the gap. We see the ball is carrying here tonight at O.co.
So a home run by Coco, Gentry with an infield hit, and here's Donaldson. So a 15th career leadoff home run for Coco Crisp. Donaldson takes up and away.
They say it's in the shoes, Glenn. I think it's in the high top fade.
You may be right, Shooty. 25 home runs, 84 RBIs for Donaldson. A couple of those home runs against the Angels this year. And now it's 2-0.
I think one thing you also want to pay attention to tonight, Glenn, is that the A's have an advantage with Conger behind the plate. Chris Iannetta has been doing a fantastic job receiving and handling the staff. The one knock on Conger is his defensive abilities back there, so look for the A's to be a little aggressive tonight.
Gentry with a big lead at first. Donaldson drives into right field, headed for the corner. Calhoun into the corner, and he makes the catch in fair territory, and he hustles it back in. So nice play by Calhoun. Things get tight in the corner, but he made the catch. Quick look at the defense for the Angels. Hamilton, Trout, Calhoun in the outfield. Freeze, Ibar, Kendrick, Pujols on the infield. And again, Hank Conger is your catcher. So here's Norris with 1 out. Norris hitting in the cleanup spot. 283, 10 home runs, 47 RBI. Tough on lefties this year has Norris been. He's 2 for 8 in his career against Hector Santiago. Johnny Gomes is the on-deck hitter. Runner goes, and the ball's hit to behind second base, and it's going to fall. And Gentry had a stop at second. He just was not quite sure what was going to happen with the baseball. But it's going to be a hit for Norris, first and second.
Well, it was a pretty good pitch, but Norris does a pretty good job of reaching out, making contact. The reason why Gentry was so mixed up here was a great job of Howie Kendrick and Ibar digging him down there where he slid into the base, opposed to standing up and finding the base coach there. Therefore, as a base runner, you're in no man's land. But Gentry, with that great speed that he has, allows him to be able to stay at second base, opposed to have to rush back to first base.
So here's Johnny Gomes. 2 on, 1 out here in the first. Coco with a home run to lead off the bottom of the inning. First pitch to Johnny Gomes is in for a strike. Gomes 232, 6 home runs, 35 RBIs. The combined numbers with the Red Sox and the A's. with the Athletics. He's 4 for 19. Fouled straight back. Good swing by Gomes.
Time now for our Nissan keys to the game. Very important to clip the Angels' wings, try to keep them out of the air. Not successful yet, but 2, make sure that this offense strikes quickly. No better way to do it than with your leadoff hitter, Coco Chris.
Even better for the A's to grab a lead here in the bottom of the first. Foul back again.
You know, Glenn, when you're preparing to play a team, a scouting report is made out on how you're going to go about attacking the team, and normally that takes place 7 to 8 games prior to the series. It's got to be difficult for the opposing teams because Bob Melvin seems to change his lineup day in and day out with the versatility that he has on his roster.
Yeah, that's true. Another 0-2 pitch, and that's right on the corner. Strike 3 called to Johnny Gomes. 2 outs.
Santiago, one thing that he's able to do is cut his fastball. His out pitch is not a slider or a changeup, but it's the last 3 inches of his fastball. And what it does is it gets right-hand hitters to freeze because those last few inches are the development of the pitch that makes it as successful as it is.
So Fryman will try to come through with a 2-out hit. First pitch runs on the inside a little bit to Fryman. .234, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs for Nate. 7 hits, 47 at bats. He's got 4 doubles. Changeup dropped in there, 83 miles an hour. Three hits in the inning for the A's.
Showing very good feet here, getting his body in front, keeping that ball in front, making sure that a runner doesn't get an opportunity to advance.
Fryman ahead in the count. Strike inside corner. He likes to run it in there on right-handed hitters. A little crossfire in his delivery.
That's what makes him so difficult. You see the hesitation in his delivery, what creates deception. And then the last few inches, as I alluded to, it's very difficult for a hitter to pull the trigger on because you just don't see that last part of the move.
Reach for and hit in the air to right field. Calhoun grabs it side retired. He's going to run on Coco Chris. Leadoff home run in the bottom of the first. So on to the second inning. We're all tied at 1. All right, time now for the lows. Never stop improving. Sonny Gray in his career against the American League West. He's 10-2 with a terrific ERA of 1.76, and he's going to get his shot the rest of the year. So the A's, including tonight, 36 games left. 29 of those 36 will be against teams from the AL West. So let's hope he keeps it up. This is just his third career start against the Angels. One last year, one this year. The one this year was on June 1st. And that was that 3-game series where the A's swept the Angels here at the Coliseum. And they did it rather emphatically. They outscored the Angels 26-11. So that's part of the A's winning 6 of the 9 games played between these two teams so far this year.
Glenn, they beat up 2 pretty good starting pitchers in that series. Jared Weaver and recently injured Garrett Richards.
That was back at the end of May, early June. 2-1 to Eric Aybar. Season series again, 6-3 with 9 left after tonight. 4 next weekend in Anaheim. How about that? Big bouncer to Fryman. He's got it. 1 out. Well, Shooty, you just mentioned the injury, and it's a little tough to watch. Garrett Richards, who's just been having a sensational season, watch the knee, and just knew that it was bad just by watching it. That was Wednesday, and he was pitching as well as any pitcher outside of probably Felix Hernandez in the American League.
Just an awkward play. I mean, they lost Cole Calhoun early in the year to the same type of freak play at first base. He hurt his ankle so badly he missed a significant amount of time on a play that you would see every day and not see any type of injury like that. But what a tough break for the Angels.
So Garrett Richards underwent surgery today. Flipped to first and freezes retired. So Richards surgery today and is expected to miss 6 to 9 months. So I don't know when he'll be back. It'll be early next year probably, but he was 13-4, 2.61 ERA, and no question the best starting pitcher the Angels had this year, and they're going to have to go on without him. So that is a big loss. There's no question about it. But there's just not a whole lot you can do if you're the Angels. What they do have now is they have a very good bullpen. Boy, has that changed, huh? Beginning of the year, it was a struggle for them. Bullpen has now become one of their strong points. This is Efrain Navarro, designated hitter.
Well, if you will look at this ball club, and ever since Jerry Topoto have taken charge over there, he's been very adamant about improving that bullpen. I mean, he's acquired guys who have been closers that are now pitching in the 7th, 8th inning, and Jason Grilly, Houston Street, you know how good he's been throughout his career. And it's become a bullpen game at the major league level.
0-2 to Navarro. That close. Yeah, we'll see how that plays out in this series. Two teams with very, very good bullpens. Tough to imagine a bullpen any better than the Athletics. One and 2 to Efrain Navarro. Drives this one toward left center field. Gentry's over there. He's got it. And Sonny Gray has a 3-up, 3-down second inning. Bottom of the second coming up. It'll be Caspo, Fold, and Perino. It's a 1-1 game. Oakland Sausage Company. Get grilling. We're looking at merchandise here at the O.co Coliseum. Bottom of the second inning with Callaspo to lead it off. Callaspo playing second base tonight. Falls behind quickly 0-2. Does not like that call from Bill Miller. Setting up outside again is Conger, and this one's up and away.
One thing about it, the hitters better be aware. Miller has a wide strike zone tonight, so you better not take pitches that are very close.
Would hit hard, past Pujols down the right field line. Aspo with a leadoff single. So that's the 4th hit for the A's. A's made that move today. Craig Gentry coming off the disabled list, and what the A's did is they optioned Dan Otero to AAA. So A's now with a 6-man bullpen for a short period of time anyways. The A's wanted a little more offense. Get Gentry back and get him in the lineup. So here's Sam Fuld. Fastball first strike. Fuld hitting .259. A couple of home runs. He's playing right field tonight. That one almost hit Fuld. It was a breaking ball. Just stayed inside.
When you talk about the transaction with Otero, I don't think any club does as great a job with their 40-man roster as the A's do with theirs. I mean, constantly making moves, filling gaps, plugging holes.
There's a strike, 1-2. Callaspo, the runner at first. He's got the leadoff single. Slider. Switch hitting Andy Perino will be next. So 2-2 the count to Fuld. Taps that one slowly towards second. Kendrick going to get the out at first, and now they're going to throw to second, and they're going to get Callaspo. That's pretty well done by the Angels. I want to show somebody how to execute that double play when the runner stops. I think they did it just about right, don't you, Shooty?
I think execution is the perfect word there, Glenn. And one thing that you don't want to do as a base runner is to run into an out. You make the defense execute the play properly. One throw from the first baseman, you have to get that base runner running back hard to the base in which you are challenging him. Therefore, he's committed. Eric Ibar, who's very quick at shortstop and knows Callaspo very well because they were teammates for a long period of time in the Angels organization. They execute the play perfectly.
And don't you think that the timing of the throw by the second baseman is the most important part of that play? Because sometimes you see a second baseman hold on to it long or go for the tag, which is fine, but then you're not going to get the runner at first. But to be able to get both runners, he has to stop the runner and throw it just at the right time.
Yeah, I think it's knowing the runner. I mean, Callaspo, I think he could have probably done a better job of kind of mixing it up a little bit to try to get Kendrick to make a different play.
Perino rips one to right center, and that's going to go all the way to the wall. Calhoun hustles it back in, and Perino with the double. Well, the A's with 5 hits off Santiago.
I love Perino's approach right here. Knowing you have a guy that doesn't play a lot, you're going to try to get over fastball. Perino coming up with an aggressive approach, looking up in the middle of the field, drives a fastball that's up in the zone with a lot of room out there in the gap. He turns on the jets, gets himself into scoring position.
So here's Coco. That's where Coco's tough. Good clutch hitter. His home run in the first inning. Left center field. First pitch is a slider for a strike. Ricky Henderson, he knows all about leadoff home runs. Judy, if you're on a list that has Ricky Henderson at the top, then that's a good list to be on. Could be anything.
If you're on any list that Ricky is a part of, it's a great list. We're surrounded by greatness for sure.
43 leadoff home runs by Ricky, the most in Athletics history. Coco's on the list.
I talked to Ricky earlier today, and I was just joking. I said, Ricky, do you think you still could go out here and do it? He said, absolute.
Absolute. Ricky can do whatever Ricky wants to do.
Wow. Best ever, man.
0-2 to Coco, a questionable 0-1 call. Just a bit outside as Coco's able to check his swing.
Well, if you look at Coco, Chris, you can tell he's hunting a fastball here because he gets that foot down so quickly and is able to get his hands through the zone. I mean, that's a deep part of the field here in Oakland, and we know Coco shows a lot of strength from the right side.
One-two pitch. Slider down, 2-2. In search of a 2-out hit. And that one misses, and now it's a full count. So the runner, Perino, at second base. And Gentry waiting in the on-deck circle. Pitch, a changeup, and he gets Coco swinging. So a couple of hits for the A's, but they do not score, and we're headed to the third. It's a 1-1 game. News brought to you by Discover RV in Lodi. Come and check out our grand opening and summer savings. Visit our website at discoverrv.net. Hank Conger will lead it off. Takes a curveball in for a strike from Sonny Gray. Conger, Calhoun, and Trout near the top of the third. 219 with 3 home runs for the switch hitting Hank Conger. I'd like to warn people about Conger. He does not get cheated, folks. It doesn't matter what the count is. He airs it out with every swing.
And I think
nothing wrong with it.
No, and I think you make a great point, and I think that Sonny Gray is doing a great job in the way in which he's pitching him backwards, starting off with breaking balls, throwing him fastball and breaking ball counts. You're right. This guy looks to do damage with every swing that he takes.
This one skied in the air, left side of the diamond for Donaldson, who's the only infielder over there. He's got it.
State Farm, enter to win. Enter for a chance to win a Friday night fireworks experience at the A's vs. Phillies game on September 19th. It's presented by State Farm. You'll have VIP access the whole night, from throwing out the ceremonial first pitch to MVP infield seats, and finally, a special fireworks viewing area on the field. Enter at winwithstatefarm.com/Oakland A's.
Here's Cole Calhoun, top of the order. Bounced out to second, leading off the ball game. Curve for a strike. So first pitch curveball for a strike is a wonderful pitch, and Sonny Gray's been doing it. Trout to follow. And Calhoun rolls it foul. Sonny took a little off that one. 86 miles an hour.
So many times, Glenn, we talk about fastball command, the ability of a pitcher to throw strikes early on in the count. I think what's equally impressive is a pitcher finding out what the umpire is doing back there, what he's calling for strikes and what he isn't, and being able to attack that zone. Miller's been calling the pitch high in the zone. Sonny Gray has been able to throw strikes high in the zone.
The sharp curveball down and in, and Calhoun is able to lay off. For 1-2. Called on the outside corner. Calhoun thought it was outside.
What makes a 12-6 breaking ball so difficult? It starts in the top of the zone and it breaks down in the zone. It's very difficult for Calhoun to pull the trigger on a ball that starts out at eye level, because you're taught all your life that you don't swing at pitches that are over your head. But because Sonny Gray can break that breaking ball off and drop that dewdrop on you, all Calhoun can do is go away and shake his head in disbelief.
So 2 outs for Trout. Trout with a home run in the first, his 28th of the year. He now has 90 RBIs. Bounces that one to Perino. Nice big hop. Side retired. So Sonny Gray has retired 7 in a row. Bottom of the third coming up. It'll be Gentry, Donaldson, and Norris. It's a 1-1 game. Coliseum. A night game tomorrow night. Nationally televised night game on Sunday. Tomorrow 6:05 first pitch, so we'll be an hour earlier. Pennant race fever is in the air.
Absolutely.
So lots of teams still in it in both the American and the National League. Second wild card is keeping the hopes of a lot of teams up and makes it exciting.
Talking about pennant fever in the air. Driving to the Coliseum today, all the green and gold banners and the jerseys and the hats. I mean, we see Ricky Henderson down here. We even saw Banjo Man. All we need now is Crazy George to show up, and we know we marching down the playoff.
Crazy George. Take by Gentry. So the count 2-2. Toward left center, but Hamilton is over there. He reaches up to grab it.
RBI Baseball. RBI Baseball is back with all 30 MLB teams and 2014 players. Get the retro 2-button style baseball game you've been missing. Visit RBIGame.com for more details and download today on your console or mobile device. You have that, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I use it a lot. Obviously on the road. Got to keep updated. You know, you can scoreboard watch in more places than just at the ballpark. 2-0 to Donaldson. Donaldson hit a fly ball into the right field corner that was caught in the first inning. He's had 5 hits off Hector Santiago. He had a double play that certainly helped him out. He has spent a fair amount of time in the stretch. In fact, he is, well, quite frankly, he has spent pretty much the entire game in the stretch. Now it's only the 3rd inning. It's in the windup right now. Right there, 3-2.
Well, you can give the A's a lot of credit because, as you can see, Santiago likes to work very quickly. Getting him in the stretch slows him down and it disrupts his rhythm a little bit.
Payout pitch to Donaldson. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. There's that crossfire. So strikeout number 3 for Santiago.
Once again, you have another right-handed hitter freezing on a fastball that you just don't normally see by A's hitters. But because Santiago does such a great job of creating movement with the last 5 or 6 inches of his pitches, it's very difficult for a hitter. It'll be interesting to see how the A's make the adjustments as this game progresses.
So with 2 outs, Norris steps in. Norris had a broken bat single in the first inning. I mentioned earlier in the show, Shooty, that control can be an issue for Santiago at times, more so at the beginning of the year. He has settled in, throwing more strikes. You can tell in this game he's around the plate.
Well, Glenn, what I alluded to the reason for his struggles was because of the direction. He wasn't able to just simply repeat his delivery. His landing foot was in a different place each time. He's been able to get that under control, and now he's so much more consistent in the zone. And when you're a pitcher that throws a cutter, it's so important that you can locate your fastball in this area that you need to, because you are going to get your results from your cutter because of the movement that it allows in that pitch.
Setting up outside, and it is low. And Santiago, when he was with the White Sox, he has not been around a real long time, but he spent a fair amount of time as a reliever. A little bit both. Last year, more of a starter, but 2012, he was pretty much a guy coming out of the bullpen for the Sox. Pitch just missed low, 3-2.
I think the biggest challenge for a pitcher who's not a power guy, every time a guy comes up to the plate, big hairy guy that looks like he can hit the ball 9 million miles, it's very hard for you to trust your stuff if it's not overpowering. But when you have great command, in which Santiago has been able to harness his control a little bit better, that's why he's had the results that he had.
3-2 pitch is ripped right past Mike Gago. Nice play by the ball boy down the left field line. One job, and that's to protect the A's relievers from hard-hit baseballs, and he did it here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he put his whole livelihood in front of that ball.
It's me. You read that high. You think you read this high? Whoa.
Absolutely. That wasn't an easy play, especially when you're not watching it into your glove.
Almost had a little Jed Lowry getting the finger out of there. Foul ball. So good battle here. Norris and Santiago. Quite a few pitches for Santiago. 57. And we're just in the third inning. Just got a piece of it. There's that ball running in on the hands of a right-handed hitter. Got to be a tough pitch to hit if you're a right-handed hitter.
Unless you have short arms and are capable of pulling your hands in as well as Derek Lewis. That's why he's been able to extend this at bat just by fouling pitches off, because he's able to pull those hands in so quickly.
Another 3-2, and it's bounced toward the shortstop. Ibar has it. Side retired. So that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Hector Santiago, and we're all tied at 1 as we head to the 4th. photo of the game. Tweet your photo to CSNCA Fan Photo. Put your name and your hometown down for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's all brought to you by AT&T. Tonight's fan photo, Bill and Diane Keener from Utah, and they're comparing mustaches with Dennis Eckersley and Raleigh Fingers. Bill and Diane, thanks for the photo. Hang in there, youngster. See, first week of school, getting up a little earlier. He's a little bit tired, but he's a gamer.
I got my own problems, kid. Go to bed early.
Little adjustment period. School starting this week. Pujols, Hamilton, Kendrick. And this one's popped up. Callaspo is underneath it. And that's out number 1. Sonny Gray in a nice roll. Retired 8 in a row since that Hamilton walk with 2 outs in the first inning.
Now batting, number 32, Josh Hamilton.
So here is Hamilton. Hamilton waves at that one. Tried to hold up about halfway through. Hamilton's second year of that big 5-year contract he signed with the Angels. Last year he hit .250 with 21 home runs and 79 RBIs in 151 games. This year, thumb injury cost him nearly 50 games. Could have been a strike, but it was called the ball, 1-2.
Could have been.
Could have been. Should have been.
I mean, this is a pretty good breaking ball here. It's not high. I guess it is late, so the corner must be closed. Wow.
And that one's drilled to right field. Fold is near the wall. Gone. So Sonny Gray did not get the strike 3 call on the pitch before, and the next pitch, Hamilton hits out of the ballpark, and it's 2-1. So that hurts. Thinking maybe he's got strike 3.
Well, the one thing you can't do is repeat location to a real good hitter. And Hamilton got a real good look at the one that wasn't called a strike. But this is a breaking ball that's basically just spinning over the middle of the plate. And Josh Hamilton has tremendous leverage and extension in his swing. And when he's able to lengthen his arms out like that, he normally does a tremendous amount of damage.
So 9th home run of the year for Hamilton. He's got 40 RBI.
Good spin on it, but just a bad location.
So both the home runs tonight, Shooty, have been on breaking balls that were actually pretty down in the lower part of the strike zone, maybe even down out of the strike zone. No matter, both guys, Trout and Hamilton's, kind of went down to get that low pitch and throw it out of the ballpark.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate because Sonny Gray made a pitcher's pitch when he needed to, but he just couldn't come back with another quality pitch. And when you're facing a hitter as great as Hamilton is, you just don't have much room for error.
First time in his career that he has allowed 2 home runs in a game, and he's done it in 3+ innings.
Well, if you're going to look at the bright side, Glenn, they are so low blast, and one thing you want to do is minimize damage when you have big guys in the middle of the lineup swinging the bat in that fashion.
And there's the curveball. That one, a sharp breaking curveball, and Kendrick strikes out.
Now batting,
Well, when you look at the pitches to Hamilton, the pitch that should have been called strike three. Good breaking ball, breaks over the outer part of the plate. That's a real good pitch. Now you try to throw the same pitch in a better location, but you get a little more of the plate. Hamilton got a chance to see the break, but Sonny Gray brought that pitch a little closer to his body. Hamilton was able to sit on that pitch and drive it out of the ballpark.
And you can see that the pitch that was not called a strike. I mean, it was a. I think if it would have been called a strike, it certainly could have been, but it would have been a pitcher strike. I don't think there's any question about that. But you're right. It looked like Sonny said, well, I'm going to just move it over a little bit. Got a little bit too much of the plate. 0-2 to Eric Ibar, hitting in the 6th spot. And there's the curveball again. Ibar swings and misses. Side retired. So Hamilton with his 9th home run of the year, and the Angels grab the lead back 2-1 as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Home runs for the Angels, 1 for the A's. Coco hit the Athletics home run. So long ball's the story so far tonight. It's the bottom of the 4th inning. Gomes, Fryman, Callaspo against Hector Santiago. Gomes was called out on strikes in the 1st inning. Santiago with no walks, 3 strikeouts. He's given up 5 hits. I know what you're thinking, Shooty. I know exactly what you're thinking. You're thinking, if that first pitch to Gomes is called a strike, shouldn't the pitch to Hamilton have been called a strike?
Well, I thought, if anything, that was outside. And if that wasn't outside, then that pitch to Hamilton truly wasn't outside.
Off the mid of catcher Conger. 0-2 to Gomes. This is the first pitch. It was called a strike. Again, it's a pitcher's pitch, but the point we're making is Sonny Gray needed that pitch called last inning, and he did not get it as Gomes strikes out for the 2nd time.
Well, what Santiago is able to do with his changeup there is set it up by throwing that fastball on the outside in the same location that he was able to get Gomes to chase his changeup. And that's what you call pretty good pitching there. But a little help from the guy behind the plate, and I'm not getting on the umpire. It's just that hitters and pitchers just want to have an understanding on where pitches are going to be called balls and strikes.
First pitch to Fryman, up and away. Fryman hit a fly ball to right field to end the 1st inning, stranding a couple of runners. fastball on the outside corner. 5 in a row retired by Hector Santiago as he tries to settle in. Have 5 left-handed hitters on their bench tonight. Remember, with Otero being sent down and an offensive player being called up, these technically have an extra offensive player. Jason Moss, both Sogard and Reddick on the bench tonight.
And that is no doubt that is the best bench in all of baseball.
That's a good bench. There's a line drive left center field, the base hit for Fryman.
Tomorrow, the A's will host the Chevron STEM Zone at O.Co Coliseum. Chevron created the STEM Zone to help with kids' interest in science, technology, and engineering and mathematics outside the classroom by showing its applications in the real world. The fun and hands-on baseball-related learning exhibits will be located behind sections 201 and 217. For tickets, visit athletics.com/tickets.
Here's Callaspo, 6 hits now for the A's against Santiago, trying to do something with those 6, and that pitch called a strike. Callaspo, who was not happy his first at bat, he ended up getting a hit, but I think he liked this call. Could have been a little high.
Well, Callaspo stands as tall as I do, 5'7", and that pitch is really up in the zone there, but that's at the top of the strike zone, and that's been established early on in this game.
Pujols hustling over, and it's into the first row and then roll right off the dugout back onto the field. Pujols hustling over. It's nice to see Albert Pujols be able to move a little bit. Boy, last year tough to watch. He had the foot injury and he just was not moving very well.
Not one time did you hear Albert Pujols complain about his injuries or make excuses for not having the great year that he normally does. But he's one of the hardest workers in the game, and his play on the field normally exhibits that.
So 0-2. Fastball low. Playing right in front of Fryman. A good take by Callaspo on a changeup. The drums playing out in left field shooting. Sounds like a football game.
Getting warmed up out there, man. Big things are about to happen.
Shallow center, Trout coming in. Trout grabs it. So Fryman back to first, 2 away, and that'll bring up full.
Now batting right fielder, 23, Sam Ball.
Full hit into the double play in the second inning. It ended up being a 4-3-6 double play. Hitting in the 8th spot. Close to Sam Fold. Santiago, kind of a herky-jerky delivery and shooting. That can be tough on a hitter.
Creates a lot of deception.
There's just a little, I guess it's hard to explain, but right when he's getting ready to deliver it, it almost there's a little twitch something, and even something that small can affect a hitter, am I right?
Well, when so many hitting coaches teach, when the pitcher separates the ball from the glove, you load with your elbow in the back. You have a twist and turn, a little herky-jerk action here. What that does, it disrupts the rhythm of a hitter where he can't really time this guy that well. And one thing that Santiago does so well, not only does he give you a little hesitation, herky-jerky action, he hides the baseball pretty well behind his back, and you don't really pick it up until the ball gets out front. And that makes it equally difficult for the hitter.
Big bouncer to Pujols, grabs it right in front of the bag, side, retired. So a hit and a runner left, and we're moving to the 5th inning. Angels 2, Athletics 1. Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Real Strong Redwood. Learn more at realstrongredwood.com. That looks good, huh, Shooty?
Oh, man, just throw me 3 slices of bacon on top of that, and you got a teammate, brother.
Would you double it up with a burger?
Well, you know
double
that.
patty?
Oh, come on, you gonna go, you might as well go. Heart attack with no return.
You can do that. You could do that because you work out and you're in good shape, or you would work off those calories in a 45-minute workout.
Yeah, that's
it would take me about 6 weeks. I'd be wearing that burger for a while. David Freese shoots one right back up the middle, and he waited nicely on a breaking ball.
Well, David Freese hit about 210 for the majority of the season. He's been one of the most hottest hitters in this lineup. But when you throw a breaking ball up in the zone and you have an understanding that the umpire is calling him, as a real good hitter, David Freese does a great job of sitting on a breaking ball that spins in the top of the zone, and he's able to hit Sonny right back up the middle.
Yeah, Shooty, we saw David Freese at the beginning of the year, and he did not look good. He really struggled in April. Spent a little bit of time on the disabled list. Now he's starting to hit. Fractured his middle finger early in May, missed 16 games. Pretty good hitter. You had to know that he would clean it up a little bit and start producing for the Angels, and he's starting to do that, and it's pretty good timing by the Angels.
Well, when you're a team like the A's and the Angels, and you're plugging in players to help you as being a pennant type team, this guy has playoff pedigree. I mean, he did a great job for the Cardinals in the World Series.
MVP.
Yeah, absolutely. So you knew it was just a matter of time before he broke out.
For Navarro is the hitter. Angels this year, second in the league in runs scored, of course, behind the A's. Coming into tonight, the A's had scored 16 more runs than the Angels. 8th in the league in home runs. The A's are 4th in the league in home runs. But these are the 2 top scoring teams in the American League. See the ERA. A's with the 2nd best ERA. Angels 5th. Big run differentials for both. So not identical teams necessarily personnel-wise shooting, but statistically fairly close. Big bouncer, and it's going to get into right field, and that's going to be a base hit. So Navarro just found that hole on the right side. He really didn't hit it very hard. It was a big chopper. And now you got 2 on and nobody out.
Now batting.
Well, this is a guy that has about 1,200 hits down in AAA, and he's able to get his hands up high the way that he sets up, and he's able to get on top of a Sonny Gray pitcher and hit it through the 4-3 hole, if you will.
Well, shooting, it's the top of the 5th inning. It's a pitcher's duel. They got 2 on, nobody out. Will the Angels bunt Hank Conger?
Well, I think that's a great question. I mean, so much has been talked about how equally matched these 2 clubs are. I feel it's the same for the managers. Both of them have played in the National League, have a lot of National League pedigree, and they play that style of baseball. And when runs come at a premium here, you never know what either one of them is going to do, but I just don't anticipate Hank Conger dropping a bunt.
Well, he is spun around. We'll see if that remains the situation. He bunts it. Freeman picks it up. He thought about third, then throws to first. So indeed, Mike Scioscia going back to his National League days as a player, but you can sort of see what he's thinking. Well, you get the top of the order up now with a whole bunch of good hitters. So the sacrifice successful by Conger.
Well, did you see who the first person was to congratulate him on getting the bunt down? I think Hank does a great job of getting that bat head out in front of the plate, because so many times guys who don't bunt that often don't do it right technically, and they end up not getting the job done. But playing catch, getting the bat head out front, Mike Scioscia is knocking people over in the dugout trying to make sure that he congratulates Hank Conger, doing something that he doesn't do that often.
All right, 2nd and 3rd, and here's Cole Calhoun. Line drive right to Perino, steps on the bag, and it got him. Catch a break. A's get a double play and get out of the inning, and the Angels do not score. It was kind of a soft line drive. Perino was positioned perfectly. He grabbed it, and he just beat Navarro back to the bag, and that's how the inning comes to an end. They dodge a bullet in the top of this inning, so see if they can maybe carry that momentum from that last play into their turn at bat here in the bottom of the fifth. Perino made the play, followed by Crisp and Gentry. Perino doubled with 2 outs in the second inning in a line drive to right center field. Swing and a miss. 1-1 the count. These with 6 hits. They've stranded 4 through the first 4 innings. Inside corner with a fastball.
Well, Andy Perino acquired the name the Magician because of the work with the leather at shortstop. Once again, it displays great instincts and the wherewithal to read the ball off the bat and save Sonny Gray in a critical situation.
Yeah, good fastball there. Perino strikes out. Strikeout number 5.
You can look like Coco Crisp with your very own Coco Crisp replica jersey presented by Casino Resort at the 105 Labor Day matinee against the Seattle Mariners on September 1st. 15,000 fans will walk away with this authentic green replica A's jersey. For more information and tickets, visit athletics.com/tickets today. Your very own Coco Crisp jersey.
No, you need one of those. Couple of them. Left field, down the line, and it's going to drop and bounce up into the seats for a ground rule double. It bounced off the signage, I believe, on the other side of the wall, and then came back to Hamilton.
Coco Crisp, I mean, you never thought about this guy being a pull hitter, but when you're pitching to a guy's strength, and I think on the right side of the Coco, he's shown that he's very capable of handling the inside pitch. I don't know why Santiago has challenged him in there twice, but both times he's come up on the short end of the stick.
Now Coco gets double number 20 to go along with his 8 home runs. He's got 3 triples on the year, and he's the tying run. Bottom of the 5th. Here's Gentry. Gentry taps one, and it is a foul ball. Home plate umpire Bill Miller, his call, and he got out there, had a good look at it. I guess it's his call until the ball actually goes past the bag, and then it becomes the third base umpire's.
And that makes it a very difficult call for the home plate umpire because he has to wait upon that time before he can make the call. But right away, Miller threw his hands up to let them know that the play was dead and stopped. And I think that was a great job by him doing that in the fashion that he was able to.
So 0-1 to Gentry, a single and a fly ball to left field. This ball up and away. Angels bullpen is going to get used tonight. 84 pitches for Santiago with 1 out in the 5th inning. Inside again. That bullpen shooting has 9 relievers the Angels do right now at this point. 8 right-handers and 1 left-hander. The left-hander's Wade LeBlanc, and it sounds like he's going to be the guy that starts in Garrett Richards' place on Monday. So they're going to have a full bullpen this weekend. Angels. Sometimes maybe you just do it for 2-3 days. You do it.
That is definitely Johnny Hole's staff down there for sure.
3-1 the count with Donaldson waiting in the on-deck circle. bases up and away, and the A's have 2 on with 1 out. So Mike Butcher's going to check on his left-hander.
Glenn, you know, you make a point about 9 relievers being down in the bullpen, and when Richards goes down, you know, everyone jumps up and they start talking about, well, the Angels are going to go out and get a pitcher, a starting pitcher, and need to get a starting pitcher. It's not that easy this time of the year, because the one thing about it, everybody's watching the waiver wire, and the one thing that other teams are not going to do is let the Angels just go out and get a pitcher on the waiver wire that could help them, because they understand the magnitude of it.
And you know what, Shooty? Part of the process is if the Angels, even if they wanted somebody, whoever they wanted would have to be placed on waivers, and they have the best record in baseball, so every team in baseball could technically block a trade. Every team, because they have the best record, and it goes from worst record to best record, and any one of the other 29 teams could block it. A's could block it if they wanted. And when I say block it, I mean the acquisition of a starting pitcher. And if you're a team chasing the Angels, and you're afraid that a quality starting pitcher is going to get to the Angels who you're chasing, that's when teams claim a guy to block him from getting to, in this case, the Angels. And I'm not saying that the A's would do it, but they could.
Absolutely.
To Donaldson. An opportunity here for the A's. Tie it up. Donaldson, a fly ball to right and a strikeout. And up the middle, off the glove, flip to second, on to first, and it's past Pujols, and the tying run is going to score. Donaldson limping a little bit. He's going to head to second. Chris comes in to score, and the A's catch a break. Ibar threw it in the dirt. Pujols could not dig it out. If he digs it out, it's a double play.
Well, there's a whole lot that went on that play, Glenn. First of all, you got to take a look at Santiago here. This ball tips off his finger, so you don't know what condition he's in out there. Kendrick is able to change his direction, but the play was made at second base. Such a great job of getting down on the runner and getting on top of Eric Ibar, who's one of the best defensive players in all of the American League. And Donaldson here trying to get out of the way of the play here, has to jump up a little bit, and it looks like he might have tweaked his hamstring a little bit on this play. That ball started out on its way to center field, and Santiago deflected it. Now, as you watch, Kendrick here give Ibar a pretty good feed, but Gentry gets on top of Ibar in a hurry, and it makes him rush his throw a little bit, and he has a little spin on that ball, because Pujols normally does a pretty good job of picking balls out there, but that ball kind of long hopped in there and made it a little difficult for him.
So it was a 1-4-6 on the putout, and then the E6, and that allowed Chris to score and Donaldson to go to second. So it's tied at 2. A mistake by the Angels.
Well, you look at Donaldson, he understands the magnitude of this play, and he tries to turn it on a little bit at the end, but by him having to make that last leap, has really kind of tweaked his leg a little bit. And that's one thing you don't want to do as a base runner, jump into the bag. You always want to run through it, because those are the type of things that could happen when you do leap in the air.
So here's Norris. It's amazing, Shooty. If you look at this inning alone, the A's executed defensively, had a guy in the right spot, got a double play to get out of a jam. The Angels did not execute defensively, and the A's got a run out of it. Think about that when the final score comes in tonight. 0-1 to Norris, who has singled and grounded to short. low, 1-1.
Well, you know, the cutter, slider, these are pitches that are field pitches, and you have to pay attention to Santiago now. By getting hit on the tip of his finger, that is going to affect his feel a little bit, and it might affect his best pitch that he's had tonight, which has been his cutter.
Inside, 2-1. 93 pitches for Santiago. He's walked 1, struck out 5. Missed again, 3-1. That error by the Angels, just their 66th of the year. They had the 3rd fewest errors in the American League. But that was a costly one. Missed inside, and Norris has a walk.
Well, Glenn, the word you use, I think, explains it best. I think the key to this game is going to be execution. One play or another could be the difference in this game.
So 2 on, 2 out for Johnny Gomes.
Now batting, designated hitters. Number 15, Johnny.
Lots of pitches. And even his 3 up, 3 down, 3rd inning, he threw 21 pitches. So Jason Grilli is going to get loose for the Angels. First pitch to Gomes. Fouled straight back. Gomes was not going to wait around this time. He had a big rip at the first pitch. Gomes is 0 for 2. He has struck out looking. He has struck out swinging. A run in for the A's here at the bottom of the 5th. Just again, 1-1. Gomes hits a high fly ball, shallow right. Calhoun coming in. And the side is retired. A's get a run. There was a double. There was a couple of walks and a costly error. So it's a 2-2 game after 5. Mike Trout, 25th overall pick in the 2009 Major League Draft. That's right, 24 teams passed on him. How about that? Rookie of the Year in 2012. American League MVP runner-up in 2013. 2014. Is he the MVP this year? He could be. He was the MVP of the All-Star game. Fourth player with 3 25 home run seasons by the age of 22. He is a sensational player, folks. These are his American League ranks this year. Second in runs, second in doubles, fifth in homers, third in RBIs, fifth in walks, slugging, on base. And it's too bad that he plays for A's rival, because he's a lot of fun to watch. But when you see him 19 times, you're scared to death of him because he's got so many ways to beat you. That's a base hit to left field. But he is a low ball hitter, isn't he? That pitch was down.
Well, he salivates on pitches down in the zone, and there's somewhat of pronounced uppercut in Trout's swing, and you would think that he would have a tough time driving the ball down on the ground because of that. But he creates so much leverage in the way in which he gets it done that he's still able to hit the ball hard down on the ground and through the infield. Young man is just so strong.
He's getting old though, Shooty. Just turned 23. His best days are behind him. A couple more years maybe, and then, you know. Oh, that's right. He's got that contract that now runs through 2020.
And it was a bargain. $100 million.
0-1 to Albert Pujols. Checking on that hand to Santiago, and he's going to be done. You see Mike Scioscia calling it off, and then the point down to the bullpen. So Grilli will be the new Angels pitcher. Santiago goes 5 innings, but that ball off the bat of Donaldson got a little piece of that throwing hand. Curve and a good one. 1-2.
Well, it was quite obvious that ball was hit hard, and the change of direction was because of it hit off his finger. And as he faced the next hitter, I didn't know if it was just coincidental or circumstantial that he was having problems with his control, but it's quite obvious that was the reason for it.
Big bouncer toward Donaldson, who charges, throws the second for one, back to first, double play. 5-4-3 double play, 2 outs.
I just don't know if you understand how difficult to turn a double play that way. First of all, he threw the ball off the wrong foot on the exchange, but knowing the runner in Albert Pujols and the ability of Callaspo to move his feet in the direction that he did, stepping toward the infield instead of away from the play, allowing himself to get away from the runner bearing down on him to be able to complete the double play. Fantastic play by Alberto Callaspo.
Hamilton goes after the first pitch, little tapper to first, 7-pitch inning for Sonny Gray, a big double play. And we're going to the bottom of the 6th. Fryman, Callaspo, and Fold to hit. It's a 2-2 game.
trout going fishing and comes up with something big right here. A big blast. Coco Chris not to be outdone. Setting the stage for this Oakland offense. Shooting out of the left center gap. And Josh Hamilton taking advantage of a second opportunity of another breaking ball in the zone and crushes this pitch. Josh Donaldson just hitting leans up the middle of the field. Greg Gentry doing a tremendous job breaking up the double play, getting a big-time run for the Oakland A's and tying this game up in a huge pennant race competition.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. It's Jason Grilli, the veteran right-hander who came over in a trade from the Pittsburgh Pirates. And Grilli was struggling with the Pirates, but has figured it out here with the Angels. And in talking to the Angels folks, they said he has been a huge addition. Kind of settled the bullpen down a little bit. He's been pitching in different spots, shooting 6th inning, 7th inning, 8th inning. He's even pitched the 9th inning a handful of times. Kind of the swing guy that they can bring in at any point. So he's facing the pinch hitter Stephen Vogt. Vogt's hitting for Fryman. Fryman was 1 for 2. So 98 pitches for Hector Santiago. Get a no decision. 7 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. Is the error by Ibar. Cost him an inning double play. Vogt to right field. Calhoun's back, and he's got just enough room. Middle of the warning track, and he makes the catch. That one just did not quite have that crisp sound to it off the bat of Vogt.
Well, that's what Jason Grilli will do to you. Even though you get a pitch that you feel that you can handle, you see that Vogt still gets it off the end of the bat. Jason Grilli is able to run the ball a little bit away from Vogt, and even though he's able to extend, he doesn't get it on the fat part of the bat. Therefore, that ball stays here in the Coliseum. Jason Grilli's been around in this league for a long time, Glenn, and you said it best. Pitching. This guy understands how to pitch.
A couple of years as a Pirates closer where he was really good. Single and a fly out for Callaspo tonight. Good pitch there. A lot of movement.
Truly feel that if you have a guy who's had success as a closer and he has stuff to still pitching anywhere else in the bullpen, he can handle that pressure because it doesn't get any hotter than it does in that 9th inning.
Yeah, I don't think he's worried about the 6th inning. Grinding through save situations quite a bit before coming over to the Angels. Sam Fuld waiting in the on-deck circle. Grounded up the middle. Kendrick a long ways to his right, and he's not going to be able to get a throw off. He was shifted over a little bit closer to first base, so he had a long ways to go, and it's going to be a hit for Callaspo.
Well, Callaspo showing great back control, staying up the middle of the field, makes solid contact. Kendrick goes far to his right on this play, and normally this is a ball that you have to make that Derek Jeter play, the jump throw in the hole. You have to be accurate, and you have to have some arm strength, but if you don't come up with it very cleanly, you might as well do what Kendrick did, just put it in your pocket.
So here's Fuld. Fuld with a double play grounder and a ground out to first. Freeze, the third baseman, up on the edge of the grass. We've seen full bunt for a hit. This one's driven to right center field, and that's going to get down, and it goes to the wall. Callaspo hits the bag at third. He's being waved home. Throw to the plate. Not in time. A's lead 3-2. Sam Ford with a huge hit, an RBI triple.
Glenn, I think really was thinking right along with you, understanding that Ford is a guy who's capable of bunting. A breaking ball is the easiest pitch to bunt, but what does Gurley try to do? Get ahead of Ford early on with a fastball, and he ambushes him, shoots him into the gap. Sam Ford does a great job of driving the ball in both gaps here. Then you watch Callaspo. He got a great jump right away, picked up Mike Gallego immediately, and you know when you see Gags waving that left arm down there in a rapid fashion, it means pick him up, big fella, because I'm sending you to the plate.
So Ford gets his 23rd RBI, and now the infield has to come in. And Polino way out in front, hooks it foul.
Check Callaspo with a very good secondary lead. So much picking up his third base coach right away, not breaking strides at all. Don't move very quickly, but he's moving rapidly, and he gets in there right on time. That's what you call picking him up and putting him down.
Swings around to hit from the left side. Reno a double in the second, a strikeout in the fifth. This one's popped up left field. Hamilton sets up. Full tags. Here comes Full. The throw is late. Sac fly, and the A's lead 4-2. Not a real good throw by Hamilton. He set up nicely, but he just did not get a lot on the throw as Ford comes in to score.
Yeah, Glenn, but one thing about power, you can't hold me back. And if I've got speed, you can't stop me. Sam Ford is going all the way. Hamilton does a pretty good job of getting behind his ball, but he doesn't get a whole lot behind it. I don't know if he had made a perfect throw. He would have been able to throw out the very quick Sam Ford.
So the A's scored twice here in the bottom of the sixth inning to take a 4-2 lead. Well, base is empty. Here's Coco Crisp, who's had a big night. Coco a homer in the first, struck out in the second, doubled and scored in the fifth. Couple of runs scored for Coco. Breaking ball. Drops in for a strike, so it's 0-2. That one's driven to right field. Calhoun going back. And he leaps up right at the wall, and he caught it. So Coco puts a charge into it, comes up a little short, but the A's scored twice. Single, triple, sac fly, and it's 4-2 Athletics. 25 years ago, 1989, he's Ricky Henderson swings and misses. There's Nolan Ryan's career 5,000 strikeout. 5,000 strikeout. Ryan Express finished with 13 that night, but he loses the game. He's won 2-0. He struck out 13.
You know what's even crazy about that? Ricky told me that Ron Hassey was a hitter in front of him, and he was had the chance to be number 5,000. He told Ricky no way it was going to happen. Hassey had 2 strikes on him, and he bunted to make sure that he wasn't the 5,000.
To use his speed.
Oh man.
So now Sonny Gray has a 4-2 lead. Vogt stays in the game at first base. Rasmus loosening up. Kendrick, Ibar, and Freeze here for Angels. Swing and miss. A changeup from Sonny Gray. Does not throw a lot of those, but he will drop one in there occasionally.
If you look at Sonny Gray, taking advantage of situations before, knowing that he can't hang those curveball, making sure that he gets on top of that one and breaking it down.
That sharp breaker in the dirt.
If you remember, the last at bat that he had against Kendrick was following the home run of Josh Hamilton. He struck Howie out with breaking balls down in the zone. Those are chase type breaking pitches. Sonny's able to throw those balls down in the dirt and get chases. Basically, it's no chance.
Fastball is high. 2-2 the count to Kendrick, who has hit a fly ball to center field, and he has struck out. Donaldson charges. He's got it. Throws in time, and Kendrick is retired. Interesting numbers on Sonny Gray. The pitches, how he uses them first time through the order, second time through the order, third time through the order. So fewer fastballs as the game goes on, more curveballs. So he goes to the off-speed stuff, mostly curve and change more as the game goes on. Anything surprise you there?
Well, it lets you know that he's not going to be predictable. Hitters make adjustments as well as hitters do. And that's the type of pitcher that Sonny Gray has become.
Well, a play by Donaldson, throws, and Vogt cannot quite get him. The ball may have hit Ibar. Donaldson fielded it right around the bag, fair ball, and it was a very tough throw.
Well, I don't think you're going to throw Ibar out anyway because he's a very good runner, but Josh Donaldson does everything that he possibly can to make this play, especially when your momentum is taking you away from the play. It's very difficult to throw that swing back pitch to first base from the third base position because that's the only way that you're going to be able to make an accurate throw there. But Josh Donaldson gave a valiant effort, but he had no chance.
So it goes as a hit, and you can see the ball did hit Ibar.
Now batting, number 6, David Freese.
So here's Freese. Ground out, and a single tonight for the third baseman. Navarro, left-handed hitter, is in the on-deck circle. Only 72 pitches for Sonny Gray. Bullpen is quiet, so he's in a pretty good spot. In fact, he's in a great spot, pitch count wise. There's a strike. Freese didn't like it.
I think what's been big for Sonny tonight is that he's been able to make a quality pitch when he needed to in critical situations. Making pitches to get double plays at times when the Angels had an opportunity to have big innings. And I think that's the reason why that pitch count is where it is right now.
Freese watches that fastball stay low to even the count. Jepson now up. We told you, the Angels have plenty of relievers.
And they have power down there.
Most of them are power arms. Joe Smith, the sidewinder. Houston Street, the closer.
Glenn, they have a phenomenal young arm down in Cam Bedrosian. His dad was a great closer for the Atlanta Braves years ago, and this young man throws gas.
Yeah, still learning a little bit, but could be a big part of the future for the Angels. And that ball trickles away from Norris. Ibar's going to head down to second. So now runner at second with one out.
We've become accustomed to watching this happen occasionally because Sonny Gray has so much movement on his pitches. And Derek Norris will probably get a pass ball here, but he basically got handcuffed there. And you just don't see that often from a normal pitcher. But Sonny Gray's stuff is so live that happens occasionally.
Freese hits a little flare to shallow right. Full broke back. Now he comes in. Ibar bluffs tagging. Throw in by a full, 2 outs. So Freese is retired. Big out there. And bring up Navarro.
Now batting, number 19, Efren Navarro.
Well, Navarro had a base hit in the 5th inning. Gray has given up 6 hits in the game.
Well, you know, outfielders who have arms, when they get opportunities to show them, they do that. Even though Sam Fold made a great throw in a situation that didn't dictate him needing to do that, that will serve notice to the Angels over there. They took note of that great throw that he just made, solid right on the money, with an opportunity to throw the runner out had he tagged. So that will be in the back of their mind.
For first strike to Navarro. Run support for Sonny Gray. Give him 3 and you're in a good spot. He's got 4. Reno handles it big hop, and side is retired, so Gray gets out of another jam. Angels strand a runner at second. 7th inning stretch coming up, 4-2 A's. 9th inning over the Angels. Sonny Gray has been strong for 7. Bullpen is quiet. The Angels go to their bullpen for the second time. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. It's Corey Rasmus. So Rasmus, 3-1, 2.70 ERA in his 23rd appearance. So he'll face Gentry, Donaldson, and Norris. A nice crowd tonight. Not quite a sellout, but close. 33,810. And they've enjoyed an entertaining game between two very good teams. Pitch to Gentry. Good swing. Foul back. Gentry has singled, walked, and hit a fly ball to left field. Fastball 94 miles an hour from Corey Rasmus.
It's got to be a great feeling for Gentry to hurt yourself, go out on a rehab, come back and make your presence felt for your ball club tonight that needs you to do that. And he's been very instrumental in this game thus far.
Hall to strike. Now Gentry behind in the count 1-2. Rasmus is ready. Gentry's not. Gentry backs off. Rasmus backs off. Gentry backs off.
A lot of backing off there, bro.
Yeah. That's my prediction, shooting. After talking to the commissioner this week, they're going to do something about pitchers and hitters and how much time they take. I'm telling you. You watch this offseason. That's my prediction. Something's going to happen. They're going to clamp down on that. Strike 3 called on a breaking ball that Gentry thought was inside. So 1 out. A's baseball at Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Prism. Now your team can collaborate at a whole new level with video walls from Prism. Learn how at prism.com.
Number 20, Josh Donaldson.
So 1 out, and Donaldson steps in.
Well, Glenn, I'm all about change as long as it doesn't affect the quality of the game.
Well, I don't see how that would affect the quality of the game. I agree with you. You probably can't if it can't do anything that affects the quality of the game. But asking guys to get in there and hit, I think it's going to happen.
Keep the right foot in, take the left foot out.
Serious, something's going to happen. It's just my prediction. And now it's 0-2 to Donaldson. Rasmus, the third pitcher of the night for the Angels. Asked for a high fastball, and it was up. Donaldson bends back out of the way.
When you talk about that, it's going to be interesting because it's such a game within the game. The hitter does things in the box, the pitcher does things on the mound, and it's gamesmanship. as a player, you were always told if you can get in a guy's mind, you could take part of his game away from him. This is the interesting part of it. You know, if I can disrupt this guy on the mound a little bit, maybe he'll get a little upset, groove something down the middle of the plate.
That one's drilled to center. Trout hustling back. Trout gets there and makes the catch. So a very hard hit ball by Donaldson.
Even if you aren't an A's season ticket holder, you can still get 2014 postseason rights. Just place your deposit on a 2015 A's ticket plan and secure your place in line for 2014 postseason tickets. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or go to OaklandA'sAthletics.com/make your deposit.
So 2 away. Here's Norris. Norris a single, a ground down, and a walk. See the game in Boston tonight, shooting the Red Sox and the Mariners. Cespedes hit a 3-run homer, and the Red Sox had a 3-0 lead in the top of the 9th inning. The Mariners had a runner on and 2 outs. With Uhara pitching, pretty good closer, right? Mariners scored 5 runs with 2 outs and beat the Red Sox 5-3. Wow. How about that for a stirring victory for the Mariners at Fenway? That's unbelievable. Just needed 1 more out. Couldn't get it, and they scored 5 times. So final score: Seattle 5, Boston 3.
So hard to get that 27th out.
So how about this? The Tigers lost tonight 20-6. Wouldn't lie to you, 20-6. So the Mariners have jumped over the Tigers. Mariners now have the 2nd wild card. Tigers a half game back.
Tigers must have been playing that little league team from Las Vegas.
Yeah, or the Vikings beat the Lions, either which way you want to look at it. 20-6 is your final score.
That's a lot of offense.
It's hard to figure. Team scoring 20 runs with the pitchers that the Tigers have, but 26.
Who was that starting pitcher anyway?
Who was the starter? B.I. B.I. will get that for us. Well, the Royals won again. Roddy Ray was the starter. Did not work out well. 3 call. Bill Miller rings up Norris. So a couple of strikeouts for Rasmus and nothing for the A's in the bottom of the 7th. 8th inning coming up. by Toyota Prius. Again, over 33,000 tonight, and they are ready for a pennant race, and they have one. You know, the two teams with the two best records in all of baseball battling in the same division. That's the A's and the Angels. After tonight, A's will have 35 games left. And there's a good chance that each and every one of them will mean something. So Sonny Gray out there for the 8th inning with the bullpen completely quiet. It'll be Conger, Calhoun, and Trout. Shooty, when you look at where the Angels are in the lineup, and you see after Conger, Calhoun, Trout, Pujols, Hamilton, Conger becomes a huge at-bat.
Yes, he did. In the spot that he's in, the Angels want him to keep the train moving. And if you're the A's on the flip side, the one out leading off the inning will dictate what happens in the 9th inning for sure.
That's exactly right. One-two pitch to Conger. Just got a piece of it. Hit Norris and then rolled back toward the mound.
The only opportunity you have of squaring up a breaking ball like Sonny Gray's is basically getting on top of it. Hank Conger does this, but he barely gets a piece of it, and therefore that ball just ricochets right down on Norris. And man, oh man, I don't care how much equipment those guys wear back there. I mean, there is just not enough protection to make them safe from balls that are thrown that hard.
Shift is on for Conger on the infield. And he swings over top a nasty breaking ball from Sonny Gray. That's his 4th strikeout.
That's the pitch that Sonny Gray needs to be able to throw when he needs it. A chase breaking ball where a hitter has absolutely no chance. The difference between the ones that they hit and the ones that they didn't is that this one looks like a strike when the hitter first sees it, but by the time that they try to pull the trigger, there's nothing there for them to hit.
So 10 ground ball outs, 8 flyouts, and 4 strikeouts for Sonny Gray. He has walked 1. That was way back in the 1st inning. First pitch strike to Calhoun. Calhoun disagrees, and he's going to go for a walk. Neither team real thrilled with Bill Miller tonight. It's been a little all over.
Say what you want, though. He's been consistent.
Trout is the on-deck hitter. Calhoun taps one foul, spins back, and now it's 1-2, and Calhoun will again go for a long walk.
Glenn, you make such a great observation in Hank Conger leading that inning off, because if things work out right for the A's here and Trout is the 3rd hitter in the inning with nobody on base, you get him, Pujols is leading the inning off, and that makes things a lot better in the matchup for the A's.
So really you look at Trout and Pujols in this inning, obviously, but getting Conger and Calhoun is just as important.
Equally.
Pitch number 88 coming up for Gray. Setting up outside. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. He went out there, and Calhoun strikes out for the 2nd time.
And you know, that's a pitch that Calhoun had not seen all night. Curveball, fastballs. This was somewhat of a slider or a cutter, but what it was at the end, Calhoun had not seen it. He had no idea on how to attack it.
Cold Hard Facts tonight are brought to you by Frostproof Coors Light. Multiple walk-off home runs in a single season, age 22 or younger, last 30 years. Trout's got 2 this year. Again, let me repeat that. Multiple walk-off home runs in a single season, age 22 or younger, in the last 30 years. He's got a homer and a single tonight. Taken all the way. It's a strike. 1-1 the count. Really, the only negative number with Trout this year is his strikeouts. He struck out 140 times. That's second most in the American League.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that as well. Chris Davis has the most strikeouts.
If you look at this pitch here, this is a pretty good pitch by Sonny Gray. If you look at it for the 3rd or 4th time, as I have, breaking ball down in the zone, even though he's had the most success of throwing it in the dirt and getting chases, that's the one that he wished that he could have back, with the exception of the one that Hamilton hit.
1-2 pitch is a fastball inside. Pujols would be next. Abad gets up. Curveball lifted in the air, but playable for Fold, who backs up. He's got inside, retired. Sonny Gray, terrific through 8 innings as we're headed to the bottom of the 8th. 4-2, the A's lead the Angels. Here's our game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 2-6-1 for the Angels, 4-9-0 for the Athletics. Santiago goes 5 innings, couple of home runs for the Angels. Sonny Gray's been great, 8 innings, 93 pitches, so he's got a little gas left in the tank. And Coco led off the bottom of the 1st with a home run. He's got an unearned run in the 5th, and then they got 2 in the 6th to break the 2-2 tie. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. And here is the young man that Shooty was talking about, Cam Bedrosian, son of the former great reliever Steve Bedrosian, Bedrock. And his son. who again, the number is not great at the big league level, but I think he's got a chance to be a pretty good reliever. Faces the pinch hitter Moss. Moss hitting for goals. So it'll be Moss, Folt, and Callaspo here in the bottom of the 8th. Bullpen remains quiet for the Athletics, although it may be a little bit early yet to the closer to get up. Sometimes you'll see the closer wait till maybe the first out is made, and then he'll get up. We'll see if that is the case. Certainly looks like Sonny's going to go back out. We shall see. 1-2 pitch foul, that 95 miles an hour. Moss 0 for his last 12 and 9 for his last 51. Swing there, fouls it back. So Moss struggling. Not homered since the 24th of July. That fastball not close. Count is even 2-2. In the top of the 9th, it'll be Pujols, Hamilton, Kendrick, and if anybody were to get on, Ibar. So that's what you can expect in the top of the 9th inning. Missed again, now 3-2.
Glenn, watching this at bat is so reflective of the A's offense. Cam Bedrosian, a young pitcher in the league that has a chance to be pretty good. This A's offense is going to make you show your whole repertoire. They're going to make you do everything that you possibly can to get them out because they do such a great job of fouling pitches off and extending at bats. He's going to have to go to an out pitch sooner or later because he just cannot get the job done with fastball only.
High fastball, and Moss chased it, and struggles continue for Brandon Moss.
Our Honda player of the game, no doubt, is Sonny Gray at this point. Not having a great August after becoming the pitcher of the year in July has got the ship right for sure. Breaking ball working, fastball working, under control, commanding the zone, getting chases, getting bad swings, getting some head shakes, and getting some frustration from a few hitters. Sonny Gray on top of his game, pitching like an ace.
First pitch to Vogt in first strike. Vogt second at bat. He pitch hit for Fryman in the 6th inning. Fly ball to right field. So Doolittle indeed waits till the first out is made. Now he gets up. Vogt's average sitting at .321. Interesting to see what kind of lineup Bob Melvin puts out there tomorrow night, because Angels will throw another left-hander shooting. It'll be C.J. Wilson versus John Lester. Wilson 10-8. He struggled some this year. Lester looking for his 14th win. So Wilson and Lester tomorrow, 5:30. Our coverage starts here on Comcast Sportsnet California. And that one driven to right. Calhoun back, and that baby's gone. Insurance run for the Athletics.
student of the game, watching how Bedrosian is attacking the hitter in front of him, sitting on a fastball, pulling his hands inside, and shooting down the right field line up against those steps that we've seen a lot of balls go to die here at the Coliseum.
Bill swings at the first pitch. He is retired. So games like this, insurance runs are huge, and the A's get one right there.
Stephen Vogt with a little leg kick, getting that foot down quickly, getting the hands through the zone on a level plane.
Number 23.
Shooting down the right field line. This guy has been a tremendous asset for this ball club, coming up with big hit after big hit after big hit.
That's not a happy man right there. Whoever he's talking to, probably just better off listening. Like Socha, the manager.
Well, one thing that I noticed about Bedrosian's effort tonight, he has mixed in a couple of off-speed pitches, but neither one of them has he been able to throw for a strike. And the A's have noticed that on deck, and they're sitting on fastballs. And until he's able to do that, that is a pitch that they're going to jump on. Sam Fold does not even flinch after a pretty good slider right there that Bedrosian is scoring. But they understand that his bread and butter is his cheese. And they're going to sit up there and they're going to try to sit on fastballs until he proves that he can get them out in a different fashion.
Pitch there, 95 miles an hour. 2-2 to Fold. Big triple for Sam Fold in the 6th inning. It knocked in Callaspo, and it gave the A's a 3-2 lead. They've added 2 more since then. Strike 3 call to Fold. Side retired, but Vogt with a home run, his 9th of the year. And so the A's, as we head to the 9th inning, have a 5-2 lead over the Angels. We'll be back.
Now batting.
You buy Casino Matrix. Come see for yourself the Casino Matrix difference. Well, the A's are 3 outs away from taking game 1 of this 3-game series, and Sonny Gray is back out there. He's going to try to finish it off himself. And Sonny Gray this year has 1 complete game, and it was a shutout. That was also his only career shutout. So See if he can do it. He's at 95 pitches. And Doolittle is waiting in the bullpen. 1-1 to Pujols. There's a line drive. Reached for and grabbed by Perino. 1 out.
Once again, the shift coming into effect. Andy Perino with great instinctive skills as a shortstop here, anticipating contact, making a very hard hit ball look like a very easy play.
Hamilton fouls the first pitch back. Fastball high to Hamilton. Hamilton a walk, a homer, and a ground out. Hamilton takes low. 2-1. 2 runs for the Angels. Solo home runs by Trout in the first, Hamilton in the fourth. Gray has allowed 6 hits. He has struck out 5. High fastball, and Hamilton helped him. Fouls it straight back. So the count 2-2. And the crowd, over 33,000, rises to its feet. They've been chanting Sonny all 9th inning as he's going for the complete game. Curve just missed.
Well, this is one that he's been able to steal a strike on early on in the game, but you know, the later the game gets, the tighter the zone.
3-2 pitch is low, and Hamilton puts together a pretty good at bat, and he gets the 1-out walk. Hey, join us tonight, A's Postgame Live for the A-Team. All 4 broadcasters, Ken Korak, Vince Cotroneo, my friend Shooty Babbitt, myself. We're going to get together and have an unscripted roundtable discussion about tonight's game. It's only on A's Postgame Live and 95.7 The Game. So Bob Melvin's going to his closer, and listen to this ovation for Sonny Gray.
on Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Xfinity, home of the most live sports, and by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
So Sonny Gray goes 8 1/3 and hands it off to the closer Doolittle, who faces Kendrick with a runner at first. 5-2 A's lead. First pitch, fastball for a strike. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and repair expert. Save situation for Doolittle with the tying run in the on-deck circle as he comes into the game here in the 9th inning. Strike outside corner. Fastball 0-2 as Kendrick goes for a walk. Ibar to follow. 102 pitches for Sonny Gray. Kendrick 0 for 3. 0-2 pitch. No chance. High fastball, and Kendrick goes around, and that's out number 2. So Doolittle finishes off Kendrick on 3 pitches.
Talk about being in your mind. Hitters understand that Doolittle's going to challenge him with a chase fastball up in the zone, and you can't handle it. But you know what? You can't lay off of it either. Gas up in the zone. Howie Kendrick, we'll see you tomorrow.
First pitch to Ibar is high. Ibar is 1 for 3. And an infield single in the 7th. Right in there for a strike. Doolittle pours it in there with a fastball. Five for 10 against Doolittle is Eric Ibar in his career. Strike 2 called on that outside corner, 96 miles an hour.
Wow, you're talking about gas, now you're talking about gas on the black. Basically, that's a mismatch against any hitter in this league.
Line drive center field, that's a base hit. So the Angels will get the tying run to the plate here in the 9th inning. It's going to be David Freese.
Got to give Eric Ibar a lot of credit here, going into 2-strike mode here, just trying to stay alive and put the ball in play. He's able to use his hands. Just serve Doolittle a little bit over the second base side. Not a bad pitch, but a better piece of hitting here for Ibar.
So Freese against Doolittle. And Freese represents the tying run. He is 1 for 3. He's got 6 home runs on the year. First pitch, rolled foul, and Doolittle's ahead 0-1. Angels have 39 comfort behind wins, most in the major league, so they are very much like the Athletics. They just do not go quietly. Freese, big swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
You're so right. This is such a relentless group. Fastball. Once again, every hitter thinks he can catch up with the gas. But when it's up there like that, those balls are like BBs coming in.
So 0-2. Fastball, Freese lays off. screen. Freeze stays alive. Reach for it. Ball was maybe out off the plate a little bit.
You know, Glenn, we talk so much about Doolittle's fastball attacking. We know that's what he's going to do. But just like a hitter who's a guy who never swings at the first pitch, it's always in the back of the mind of the hitter that he does have that slider. And that makes that fastball play up even more.
Up the middle, base hit center field. Hamilton's going to score. Ibar goes to third. He'll stop there. And Freeze with a big hit. And now it's 5-3. You know, Shooty, you think about the Ibar at bat and the Freeze at bat and their approach when they got to 2 strikes, which is probably the way you should approach Doolittle the entire at bat. Just take a little swing out and try to make some contact.
You're absolutely right. Go into a 2-strike mode, limit your stride a little bit, use your hands a lot more, and think middle of the field, because if you try to do too much, that's when you're going to be overmatched. But I alluded to it early on in the start of the game. David Freeze has been one of the hottest hitters for the Angels over the past month and a half, and you could probably consider yourself a little lucky there that he hit the ball on the ground, because the way things have been going for that ball club, he's the guy who has come up with the big-time hit. So you make a great point there. You've got to shorten up a little bit and try to do everything that you possibly can, and just give the Angels hitters a little credit there for having 2 quality at-bats.
So you saw McDonald, the pinch runner. He's at first, and now it's Colin Cowgill who's going to pinch hit for Navarro. So the run in this inning is charged to Sonny Gray. That was the Hamilton wall. First and third, 2 outs. Here's Cowgill. Cowgill chokes up slightly on the bat. Swing and a miss, and there's the big swing, and Cowgill comes up empty.
The no chance swing. Thinking about winning the ball game yourself with a 3-run home run when you're a guy who lives by driving the ball in the gap. Basically, you have no chance in this situation here with that approach.
Pitch, and called the ball. Boy, that was a good pitch right at the knees, and Bill Miller called it a ball.
Wow, I mean, he's so used to seeing Doolittle live up in the zone. When he provides a quality pitch at the bottom of the zone, right at the knees, I think the umpire is caught off guard a little bit himself.
This one popped up into the seats, and now it's 1-2.
Glenn, these are the guys that I don't want to see come to the plate. These former Oakland Athletics, I just don't like to see those guys.
And Cowgill's done a good job for the Angels this year. Ball way high. 2-2 the count. That's where we'd like to keep Mike Trout, right there at the end of the bench. Two and two. Cowgill had a big rip, fouls it back.
Doesn't get any better than this, partner.
So Cowgill steps back into the box. Doolittle is ready. And Cowgill lays off. 3-2, and that will get McDonald started, and that's big. That's the tying run at first base, and you're giving him a head start. That's Chris Iannetta, who is the on-deck hitter. pitch outside, and Cowgill walks. And how about that at bat by Colin Cowgill? That's as good of an at-bat against Doolittle as I've seen in a long time.
Well, you've got to give Cowgill a lot of credit to be able to lay off fastballs that previous hitters weren't able to do. And Cowgill has a little feel for Doolittle. I mean, he came up with him in the A's organization for a couple of years and watched him develop. But it's no secret, he understands how Doolittle is going to attack him. And this is what it's all about right here.
So here's Iannetta pinch hitting for Conger. Bases loaded. First pitch. Swing and a miss. Doolittle having to work for this save big time. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Well, Doolittle's like Popeye. That's all I can stand. I can't stand no more. Here comes my fastball. Let's see what you're going to do, Joe.
Not close.
He tried to get a little more, Glenn.
So 1-2. 22 pitches for Doolittle here in the 9th inning. High, 2-2. Well, the Angels doing a pretty good job for the most part of laying off that high fastball from Doolittle. On deck, Cole Calhoun. Foul back, so Iannetta gets a piece for the first time. Fouls it straight back.
You know, I can read minds. I can hear people saying, why doesn't he throw a slider? Why doesn't he throw another pitch? The one thing, if you're Doolittle, you don't want to get beat with your second best pitch in this situation.
That one foul back just to our right and above us. Gregerson gets up. And Norris is going to chat with his closer. Good time to be on the same page.
I don't know if you've looked at Bob Melvin here lately, but those little gray tips on the sides of his sideburns, these are the type of innings that are created.
Get a little more gray. 2-2. Ibar is the runner at third. McDonald at second. Cowgill at first. So good speed at all spots on the bases. Two pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Got it on the inside corner swinging. And the Angels make some noise in the 9th, but Doolittle finally shuts the door. And boy, what an exciting finish to a terrific ball game as Sonny Gray gets his 13th win. Doolittle gets the save. And the A's win game 1 of this series. So what a battle. Doolittle had to work extra hard this time for the save shooting, but he got it.
Yeah, Doolittle relentless in this save opportunity, not backing down, going after the hitter with his best stuff. It's mano-a-mano right here, brother. I'm going to give you what I got, and I'm going to see what you can do. And Sean Doolittle sealing the deal with his signature fastball gas. No chance.
So, Padres baseball has a terrific ball game tonight as the A's hang on and win it. You see what makes the A's good. You see what makes the Angels good is they do not give up. They make it super interesting in that 9th inning. But the A's win it 5-3. So the Angels lead now over the A's in that AL West is just 1 game. So that's a fun game to play, and I'm sure fun game for the fans. A little stressful. fun game to broadcast as well. As we're going to talk to Sonny Gray in just a minute, but what a great finish, you know. And listen, it got a little hectic, but that's what you can expect now when these two teams square off.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a playoff atmosphere from the first pitch to the last pitch, and everything that happened in this game. I mean, we knew that small plays, small incidents were going to determine what happened here. There were a lot of heroes in this game, but the main guy is with us now.
All right, Sonny Gray is standing by downstairs. And Sonny, tell us about tonight. You know what's going on in the standings. You know who you're playing. The crowd is here. Did you feel a little extra excitement tonight, or do you, as the starting pitcher, have to try to keep yourself calm as best you can?
You know, coming in, it's going to be a big game, and it's going to be a close game down the last pitch, and that's what it was tonight. You know, I just really wanted to come out and try to put together a quality start and give us a chance, and I think we did that, and then really nice to get this first win of this series.
Sonny, you were great in July, hadn't been very good in August as far as the record is concerned, but your disposition on the mound tonight looked like you were in total control the whole way. In your mind, why were you better tonight than you have been in the past?
I think it was just a big situation, and I just told myself to relax and take a deep breath and slow the game down and just make pitch after pitch after pitch, and that's what we try to do tonight, and thankfully it worked out.
Hey, Sonny, you go out there for the ninth inning, and obviously you appreciate your manager giving you a chance to try to get the complete game, but as you go in the dugout, did Bob come up and talk to you and say, hey, I'm going to give you the ninth, you have, if you get a guy on, I'm going to take you out, or was there any conversation at all between you and the manager?
No, not really. It was just, how do you feel? And I was like, I feel great, and that was it. So I went back out there for the ninth, and, you know, unfortunately I walked Hamilton there, and then, you know, but that happens, and then Sean was able to come in and shut the game down, and we're walking out of here with the win.
Sonny, in game, even games when you're not pitching, we've seen you a lot kind of gravitating to Samardzija, some of the newer guys, the veteran guys over there. How big have they been in your maturation process in the time that they've been here?
Oh, they're huge. They're just really fun to talk to, whether it's talking about baseball or talking small talk. They're some great guys, and you know, Kaz has been around for a long time as well. So we have a really good group, and I go to them for anything. You know, whether it's how you throw this pitch or what do you think in this situation, or I was getting Lester to try to teach me how to blow a bubble the other day. So, I mean, it's just anything like that.
Well, Sonny, thanks for stopping by. Congratulations on a terrific performance tonight.
Thank you.
All right, so Sonny Gray gets his 13th win. Great finish. Doolittle strikes out Ionetta with the bases loaded, and the final score 5-3. So a lot of fun tonight. Good atmosphere at the ballpark, and really a lot of people were saying, hey, the pennant race starts tonight with the start of this three-game series, and there's probably a little truth to that.
Yeah, Glenn, well, you know, we could feel it when we walked into the stadium today. It was just different. You could feel it in the air. You could tell in the way that the players, they had a little more serious look on their face than they're normally doing. This is a group that's always serious, but you could tell that they knew that this game was big tonight.
All right, so the A's are now just one game back in the AL West of the first-place Angels, and game one of this big three-game series goes to the Athletics. Final score tonight, the A's 5 and the Angels 3. You've been watching Oakland A's baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California. Don't go away. A's postgame live with Brody and Brib starts right after the break.